Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
And by warrior, we mean warring for your legacy, warring to create a new world for your children, a new reality for you, one in which you are thriving, one in which your children have joy and peace and can become healthy adults.
And one that you're not ashamed of,
Yes.
One that you're proud of, one that people would be honored, would have an honor of standing next to you because of the legacy you're creating. Right? Even though you're in a situation now where maybe society is looking down upon you, maybe your family's angry at you, and we get that. We totally get that, right? Because when we make a mistake, we make a mistake. But really coming into a place as a TYRO, taking that mistake and turning it into a life lesson. Right?
Because social prejudice is real. And so we learned from our own personal journey through 15 years of incarceration, Ron doing time on the inside, where the kids and I did the time on the outside, welfare. We learned that social stigma and how people look at us as less than. But in the midst of that, we also learned principles and precepts, and we learned how to apply them so we could overcome even the greatest of discrimination.
Even though I went to prison for a crime I didn't commit, listen, let's keep it real, man.
Right.
I was not a man of my word. I was not a man of honor. I was a lame. I was committing adultery. I was stealing from my family. I wasn't paying my bills. All these things add up to one thing. I was not the real McCoy. I was not a TYRO. But it was coming into prison that I began to really understand these key principles of what it means to be a great husband, a great father. Because in the past, prior to that, I took everything for granted.
That's right.
Right? I wasn't a warrior for my family.
No.
I was a warrior for selfish desires.
That's exactly right. And so instead of, so what we're going to do here on TYRO TV is we're going to take some of those principles that we learned and we want to give them to you to help you become better. So today, on today's show, we're going to talk about be still.
That's a key word, be still, because living in a world of chaos that's fast moving and then going into a place where time stands still, right?
Right.
But it's still chaos in there, still alive. There's still a lot of activity going on, and it's your responsibility, Dad. Listen now, it's your responsibility to find that place to be still, and we're going to talk about how that can happen.
Right, because out here, the busyness is the enemy of greatness. Busyness is the enemy of your greatness in there. And so you don't want to miss this show. We're going to give you some tips and tools. We're going to explain what we mean when we talk about being still. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we are talking about what does it mean and what does it take and why do we want to do it? Be still. Right? What does that mean?
The crazy thing is, so now when I hear the words be still, I know what it means and I know how to practice being still. But there was a time in my life that, if people said be still, it was like a reprimand, because I remember being a little girl and like dancing all around and being super busy and super loud, and my dad said, "Cathy, be still." And that meant, a nice way of saying shut up, sit down and be quiet, right?
Well, yeah, right. Right. It wasn't a place where when I remember hearing "be still," and I think those were kind words. If I heard "be still," right? and we heard "don't move,"
right.
and stand still, go to your room, all those type of things, and the negative contents. But now that you're in a grown-up timeout, right? You're in a penitentiary. How do you be still? How do you reflect? What does it mean to be still today in today's thought pattern, what
Right.
we're talking about.
Not in a negative way of be still, like okay, just stop what you're doing, shut up and sit down. That's not what we're saying. We're talking about being still as your own personal way of saying, you know what, let me exercise my own personal self-control. Let me begin to control the things I can control in my life, because right now you don't have very much control in your life. But as you begin to exert and exemplify and practice self-control, you are going to not only become better, but you're going to inspire people around you, and especially your children.
What is it? Being still is a place of where you can reflect on what your life looks like in the past, in the present, and even in the future. Why is it important? We're going to talk about it later, but I want to add this because this is really important. You are in the best place you could possibly be in your life. I know it's hard sometimes to hear that, but you're in an environment, yes, it's controlled environment, but you can take advantage of the quietness, of the stillness, of the where it's calm, because you can create a calm environment even in the penitentiary.
Right. And so all this noise, all this stuff happening around you, the pull to get involved in this or get involved in that, and you can fill your time with all kinds of busyness just to keep yourself from really thinking about, okay, who am I? What do I really need to do? Where am I? What do I really want? So you fill yourself, and so you're like, thinking on the run. And it's not the same thing as just being still, finding a quiet place of solitude and saying, okay, let me really examine what is happening in my life. Let me really examine how I think. And so when we talk about be still, we don't mean going to sleep or turning on the TV and having everything quiet. We literally mean coming to a place inside of your own mind where you're quieting yourself, you're exercising self-control within the way that you think, you're examining, why am I thinking this way? Is this a healthy way to think? Is it a healthy way to examine the world? And that's what we mean by be still.
And it's really important. Cathy said earlier, busyness is the enemy of greatness, right? And so if you're signing up for softball, you're signing up for choir, you're signing up for basketball, whatever activities that the penitentiary is offering. Now, we're not saying don't do those things,
Right.
but you got to have moderation. You got to have a place in your evolution there as you're evolving to become a better father, a better man, a better adult, right? You got to put in that space time in your learning how to listen to yourself, how to quiet yourself down, because so it's not so loud out here, right?
Right. And I remember when Ron was in prison, and there was a season where he was so busy in there that he barely had time to write letters. He barely had time for us, right? So he'd call and say, okay, I gotta go to this practice. Or you know what, I gotta finish up this homework. So he's taking college classes. He was signed up. He was doing some other like group meetings. He was playing soccer.
In a band too.
And playing in a band. And so he was always so busy. Now, all of those things were positive things that were helping him become better. But when you put them all on his plate at the same time, it was actually distracting him from his core purpose. So when we talk about being still, we're not saying just sit in your cell all day or just sit all by yourself on your bunk and be a hermit. That's not what we're saying either. We're saying carving out time during your day, either waking up extra early, staying up a little bit late, or during the day, finding that time where it's just you to just be still and really contemplate and reflect on what's happening in your life and what you want to happen.
And this is important, gentlemen, because when you come home, it is so fast out here. The world has not stopped. In fact, it's sped up since you left.
Oh my goodness.
And it is so important that you are already practicing this discipline of being still, practicing this new gift of being still, and really falling in love with it, because it's people ask me a lot. They ask me all the time, if there's anything that you would miss from prison, what would it be? And I'm going to tell you the truth. It's silence. Silence is a great tool in people's lives. And out here, you got to fight for silence. You got to find it. And when you find it, you got to obtain it. And you want to hold on to it so that, and Cathy understands, and she has her place. She wants to go to her quiet place so she can detox.
Right.
So she can
decompress
from everything that's happening in her world. And then I need that, because if we don't have time to detox, and we come together, man, our two worlds are colliding.
Right.
And they're loud.
It is so loud in my house, and there's only 3 of us, and it is so loud. That's true, because we all have our own stuff happening. And so that chaos, that fast-moving train of chaos, I mean, that's what life is. That's what life is like. And so we need to learn those principles of finding the place of be still. And so when we come back, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about why that is so important. So stay tuned.
You don't want to miss this.
playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through family days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we have the great honor and privilege to come into your world and talk to you about being still. And what does that mean, right?
And it sounds so simple, like, yeah. You know, like, okay, they're going to talk a whole show about being still.
And you know what? It's not simple.
No,
This
and it's
is
so
hard.
important.
And this is so important, and it's hard because there are so many distractions that are going to pull you inside there and out here, and you got to have that discipline that it takes to shut everything out. Why? That's what we're going to talk about right now. Why is it important?
Why is it important? So we said earlier, like out here, as you transition, so it's crazy in there. Ron can speak more to what's happening in your life in there. I only know like going to prison visiting rooms and hearing people talk. But Ron says, you know, that there's all these things. And I also know our experience from Ron being in there. But out here, I mean, this train of busyness, zoom, 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 right? And so as you
Zoom, zoom,
transition from inside to outside, like you got to be prepared to jump on that train to get a fit in to your family's life. Now, if you just jump on that train and you just go for a ride with them, you're going to find yourself so stressed. I was just talking to a guy yesterday who recently was released from prison, I want to say maybe 4 weeks ago, and he said that he is freaking out because everybody is in such a hurry. And he's just like, he says, it just makes me so anxious. It makes me feel like, I got to hurry up. I don't have time for me. And it's like, you know what? We have to learn to set the pace while you're in there, so that as you come out and you intersect with their lives, that you still have that time of being still so that you can adjust, number one, and number two, so that you can help your family learn to slow down a little bit.
You know, this is really important because you're in there and listen, fellas, you know it and I know it that you get to lay down or you get to quiet down where a lot of people truthfully they would die for that quietness that you get to experience in there. Maybe the way you got there.
They don't want that, right? Nobody wants to be in prison.
Right, but the place that you're in is, and I say this a lot, you can look at this place as being either your mausoleum or your monastery. Right now, we know that a mausoleum is a place they bury the dead, right? And a monastery is a place of quietness, of a self-examination. Find out really what you want out of life. And this opportunity that you have in this penitentiary is to be able to qualify and to put actual verbiage to the visions that you have, and you get to dream, but you gotta be still so you can bring clarity to it and you can articulate it in a way that when you start to cast forth your vision or your dreams, people will understand it because you had time to think it through. You had time to put a process together. You've had time to dream and dream so colorfully and so beautifully that everybody who sees what you're talking about, they feel what you're saying that's possible because you're in a place now where you can pull that which is in here out here in a way that is so calm. It's so riveting, right?
Okay, well, I'm just thinking, you know, when you pull that out, it isn't necessarily so calm.
You're passionate about it and you're excited about it, but you went to a place where it's so peaceful. Because out here, gentlemen, listen, man. When you come out there, people are they're gonna resent they're gonna resent your calmness, right?
That's right.
They're gonna resent
They want you to join them in the chaos. And so when you block the time, it's gonna be hard to block that time, but so important to say, okay, I'm gonna block this time so that you can process everything you're experiencing. But by doing that, when you do that, it's so important. And I'm gonna say it 100 times. I wanna say it 100 times. So important that you teach your kids that self-care is one of the most important things that they can put into their day. Because we are watching these kids and these coaches and these teachers and whatever it is, all the things in their life is so demanding. And so they have extraordinary pressure to perform, and not extraordinary pressure to say, pause, Do some self-care. Let's reflect so that you can care for yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
You know, I'll hear people go on vacation once a year, maybe twice a year. But you know what? You should be able to manage your day and find that quiet time, right?
Every single day.
Every single day. And if you want to call that your 20-minute vacation, right?
That's right.
You
That's
call it
absolutely
your 20-minute vacation.
Yeah.
Because you're practicing something great in there. You're practicing you know, people ask me, so do you ever go on vacation? Man, I spent 15 years on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to work,
Yeah.
right? And so I work every day. Every day is a vacation for me, for what I get to do. But I still manage to find that time every day to shut it down, do whatever it might take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, where I can just detox. I can
Right.
just listen
Yeah.
and can clear out
You
my
can't
thoughts.
take in anymore. It's like, whoa,
You're
sensory
overload.
overload.
Yeah. Action,
Hearing,
action, yeah.
seeing, doing. Okay, stop that, all that. And sometimes, you know, like for my daughter, for her to decompress and get in that place, in order for her to protect her mental health, is she plays some music and she just listens to the music and just, right, doesn't think about anything else. For some of us, it's like me, I want total quiet. You know, get me a book and let me just sit in a room all by myself. And first, I just sit there with the book in my lap. And I probably sit there for 10 minutes and I don't read, I don't do anything. I just enjoy the stillness and decompress my thinking before I even open up the book. Out here, the mental stress is extraordinary. In there, the mental stress is extraordinary. So finding that vacation time to de-stress and be still
Every day.
yeah, is vitally important.
Every day.
Every single day.
I learned something, and I'm a hard learner, I guess, or slow learner. Slow learner.
Sometimes.
So slow learner. So, you know, I pick up my daughter every day from school, and I take her to school in the morning, but what I didn't when she gets out of school, I pick her, hey, how was your day today? I'm like that little girl who wants to talk all day, right? And she's like, you know, she's like,
little girl, why not little boy?
Okay, little boy, he wants to, right? And so she's like, I don't want to talk right now. So I had to really learn that, you know what? She just was bombarded
She's
with the world today.
decompressing.
And she's decompressing. And that 15-minute ride home and that 15-minute ride to school, she's gearing up for school. On the way back, she's gearing down from school.
Right.
So I had to learn, be still, let her be still with her.
Right.
And be quiet. Right? So listen.
Yes. So when we come back, we're going to give you some tips and tools on how do you practice that right now, but also how do you practice that through the transition, because that's going to be where a real challenge is. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we're talking about being still and what is it and why is it important?
It is such a challenge. Like,
To
it sounds
detox.
so easy. Just be still, right?
still.
Just sit quiet. No, it is such a challenge.
I'll tell you what, because even in the moment of your staycay, right? When you found that time, you got that place that you're gonna meditate, you're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about that, and you're gonna be still. How do you keep from the phone calls? You got your phone. How do you keep all this happening?
Yeah, like in there, you're like, okay, unless you've got your JPay, if you've got your JPay machine with you and it keeps going off, like, oh, then you know the struggle, and the struggle is real.
But you have to, when you choose this time, that means this guy here, he can't be there with you.
No,
your
no.
JPay, put it in your box. Whatever it is, whatever's that distracting thing, that tool, whether it's your, I don't think you guys got Walkmans, because when I was incarcerated, we had Walkmans. Then we went to the portable CD player, right?
And now don't they have look like iPads?
Yeah, now they got
iPods?
MP3 players and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So, but back in those days, but those were our distractions, man. I love music. But when I wanted to really be still, guess what? I had to take the headphones off.
Yep.
I had to set it aside, close the books, and I had to be still and literally just stop. And
So
you know
that's
what?
number one. Breathe.
Breathe,
Right?
that's what I was going to say.
And breathe. And so number one tip and tool, and that might sound like, okay, all right, that cliche, but it is so true. So when you find your spot and you're where you need to be in that quiet place,
Take a deep breath.
just do it with us right now. Ready?
Just breathe. Just breathe. Because you're giving yourself fresh
Do it again.
oxygen,
Do it again. Do another
right? Oh, man.
Doesn't that feel good? Just get that oxygen, fill your lungs up, and you just feel that you feel like you can already relax. You start feeling yourself think straighter. That is so true.
And it
Physiologically.
relieves so much stress because you're in an environment that is literally a stressful environment,
Right.
whether you want to admit it or not, right?
Tensions
are high, right?
So
People
that
are on alert.
intentional breathing, that intentional filling up your lungs and then just letting it all out and filling up again, it begins to detox your body, right? It gets the oxygen flowing through your system, gets the oxygen up to your brain so you can think straighter, think more clearly. Super, super important. Finding that time, that 20-minute vacay, you begin that 20-minute vacay for 10 big, deep breaths.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two is if you get up at 7, get up at 6. We want to challenge you to get up early. Before anybody else
Or even
does.
just 30 minutes earlier. Even if it's not a whole hour, if a whole hour sounds like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do that, start with 30 minutes earlier.
Or 15.
Or 15. And just that little bit of time, you've got that. So the first one was breathe. So during that time that you wake up earlier, start your day with those big 10 deep breaths where it's just you. You don't have any place that you have to be right that moment. Don't fill that with other stuff because it's really easy, but that is only for your 20-minute of detox and just be still.
Because out here on the streets, what people do is, right, I remember when I used to smoke cigarettes. The first thing I did when I wake up was what?
Look for that pack of cigarettes.
Fired up, right?
That's right.
But then when I quit smoking cigarettes, right, went to prison. But even there, I don't know if it's like this for you guys in there with the JPay. I don't know how fast your email's coming in or what you get in there, but is that the first thing you grab a hold of? Because out here, the first thing people do, go ahead.
Yeah. Or the first thing that you do is you got to get ready. I got to get up. I got to brush my teeth. I got to get in the shower. Like don't do that. Before you even do that, because as soon as you start doing that, as soon as you grab your JPay, as soon as you start getting ready, off your day goes.
Off your day goes, and you're already distracted.
You're out the gate.
You haven't because practice makes permanent, right, Tyros? Practice makes permanent. So just like out here, when people get in a car, first thing they do is turn on their radio. Go home, first thing they do is turn on the TV. Practicing something different. Really, you want to breathe. Okay, so number 2, wake up earlier.
And which leads us into the number 3, which is block that time. Don't fill it up with anything else. So you're breathing, you're during the time you wake up early, and now you're blocking that time because it's really easy. Hey, you're up at 6, you're up at this time, let's do that. No, that is your time to just be still. That is your self-care time, and it is vitally important.
And I'll tell you what, you're already in a controlled environment. Your times are already controlled. When I was incarcerated, you have no reason why you can't find that spot in time because your day's already planned out for you, right? You know when you got to go to work. You know what time count is every day. Even if it's during count time and it's not standing count and you can lay there or you can sit in your chair, right? And you can begin the breathing exercise. You can begin to detox. You can begin, okay, I'm going to get ready for the second part of the day, third part of the day, whenever that is, right? You have no excuse why you can't practice that in there now, because when
Right.
you get out here, you got your schedule, you're gonna set it up, your processes and everything. When you gotta go to work, when groceries, you gotta be able to block that time and say, this is a hard spot.
Right.
I'm not gonna
Nothing
let
else is going to happen during
nothing
this
else
time.
is gonna happen.
And so number 4 is during that time is reflect. And so as you reflect, that might mean that you are journaling. It might mean that you are meditating. It might mean that you are reading. Whatever it is that you're doing during that time, that's what you're doing. So these may not be in order, because probably you should still first say, okay, I'm going to block the time, then I'm going to get up early, then I'm going to breathe, then I'm going to reflect. But those are the 4 key points. Do those 4 things, begin to practice those things, and you will find that, wow, you know what? Maybe 15 minutes is all I need. Maybe I need an hour. And that might vary from day to day or week to week, depending on what the stressors are in your life. As you block that time and you transition home, you're teaching your family that, you know what, self-care is important, and you're giving them permission to take care of themselves.
You know, even if you go for a walk in the yard, guys, and you're by yourself, man, that is a great place to find quiet, to find yourself, to just listen to yourself. Do you like the way you think? This is what this is about. Because you want to change the way you think, because your best thinking got you where? Your best thinking got you locked up. So you want to
That's
change the
right.
way you think, right?
Yep.
And blocking time, taking a walk, being alone, finding that space. And look, the dudes that you're hanging out with, if they don't get it, you gotta do it. And eventually they'll come
Anyway,
around, right?
yep.
They might get their feelings hurt. They say, man, when you don't play basketball, you know what? I need a detox right now. I need to examine myself. I want to make sure that I'm prepared for what's coming ahead of me. I'm leaving in a year. I'm leaving in 6 months. I got 2 years left. Whatever that might be, you got to be ready to hit that streets. And when you hit it running, you also know there's a time in there to hit pause.
And it
right?
totally does not matter. If they make fun, oh, okay, you're going to take your 20-minute vacay. Okay, you're going to take your half hour. Okay, you need that. Okay, that doesn't matter, because they're not responsible for your success. They're not responsible for your health. You are. And so by you taking personal responsibility and practicing these self-control and self-care things, you are setting yourself up for success. And then as you learn to do that and you practice that, then even while you're in there, you can begin to teach your children the importance, and you can begin to encourage your children to do the same thing, so that as you transition home, that can be your time where everybody is on that self-care mode at the same
They're
time
on the
day.
same page.
Right.
And dads, listen, your kids are looking for that way to detox, because
And connect with you.
Yeah, they're being bombarded with so many things out there that
it's
you can't see it, you're not
ridiculous.
there. But you can help them manage it.
The pressure
right?
that kids are under today is unlike any other pressure before, because they're bombarded 24/7 thanks to machines like this. And so these tips and tools are going to help you help your kids take back their own destiny.
So listen, when we come back, we're going to wrap all this up, and this has just been amazing. It's a great reminder for us what to practice, right? So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And this has been a great time. Thanks,
Yeah.
hon. I really appreciate you helping me detox even here, right?
That's right.
Because that's how this will work.
Yeah.
This is when you get
Well,
home.
today, what we've
Yeah.
been talking about is learning to be still, and the importance of being still, even in the midst of chaos, especially in the midst of chaos.
And in order for it to work, fellas, you gotta, help your family understand the importance of it. So encouraging them, this is really important. When you're encouraging your wife, your significant other, and your children, and you're allowing them to go find that place of quiet time, right? Because
Yeah,
because
gosh,
you can't
that's
take
so
it personal. You can't take it personal because you might want their attention, but hey, it's quiet time.
Yeah.
Right?
I love what you said, allowing them.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, they do need permission because this world has so many demands, and everywhere they look, there's demands on them. When you give them permission to stop and just breathe and just be, like then it makes them remember that their value is in who they are, not what they do, not what they accomplish, but in who they are, Dad.
And we can't stress it enough.
Right.
You're practicing a great principle in there. You're being allowed something that is a hot commodity out here, right? And there's not too much places or in people's lives where they can say, "What did you do today?" You know what? I enjoyed my detox moment today. You don't hear that from often because they're caught and they're running and they're tripping up and they don't even know that. Look, if you just take a break, if you just stop for a minute and regroup, you're gonna be okay.
Right.
But they're continually running and they're tripping, but you know what? The trip has become so normal in their life that they're
But they're
accustomed
just
to it.
stumbling along.
Yep.
They just think that's normal. My greatest mentor, the best advice she ever gave to me was this: Cathy, because I call her like, I got this, she said, okay, what I need you to do, I need you to just take a break. Every single day, I need you to take a break and just calm, be still, and then I want you to call me after that break because that's when I think I can help you the best. And it was like, it changed my world.
Yeah,
it changed my world.
Because you're not calling for advice or help in the moment
Right.
of it, right? Because then you can't. You're okay. Slow down.
no perspective,
I can't hear
right?
what you're saying. You're talking too fast. Wait. Start all over again. I can't track what you're saying.
You're stumbling into somebody instead of going to them and saying, hey, these are the things that I'm really trying to figure out. So be still. Help frame your future in those moments of stillness.
This is really vital to your success when you come out, gentlemen. You're learning skills in there that are going to take you far if you embrace this experience. If you embrace this experience of quietness, you know what? There's a reason why your day is counted by the minute. There's a reason why they do this, right? That you have to come in there being told what to do, and this is an exciting time if you embrace it, right?
So we want to thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. We hope that there was something we said today that ignited a fire in you that said, you know what, I can have a better future and I'm going to go get it.
So thank you for allowing us to be walking with you and helping you grow and become a better dad, a better father, a better husband, and a better son, and of course, a better friend. So until next time, always remember
that we are rooting for you.